Hello everyone. So today let us talk about workflow properties, and I want to cover this really interesting use case that will definitely help you in case you are trying to use some permissions or some controls or some restrictions on your issue. Now in Jira, we of course have a workflow, and when we have a workflow, we can of course have different states. For example, if I show you this workflow, which is basically a very simple workflow, but it has a few states like to do, done, and in progress. Now, there might be a case where you want the people to, of course, make these transitions, but the moment you reach a specific status, you may want to disallow people from, or basically not allow anyone to make changes to the issue. For example, let us say the moment you move your issue from any status to done, you want to make the issue uneditable. Now, this can be done using issue or basically the workflow properties. Workflow property is something that you can use, but there is one problem with that approach, and I will talk about it. And I will also talk about how you can use another workflow property. So my requirement is that the moment the issue is moved to a done state, we will of course not allow anyone to edit the issues, or maybe we will allow only specific people who are part of a specific role to make changes to the issue. But at the same time, we also want the ability to add subtasks. So let us do that. It will take a few minutes. And this is my workflow. And I'll probably just go to the project settings first. So I'll go to the project settings, and then I can go to the workflows, and then I will modify the workflow. So this is something that you can very quickly do. And by the way, if you're working on the workflow, you can work on the diagram mode or text mode, totally up to you. So, and there are some differences by the way, but for most cases, diagram mode will work just fine. So if you click on this done status, there is something called as properties. If you click on it, here you can add a property. So this property is something that you can add, but you need to know what kind of properties we have available. So there is actually a link which I'll just do a Google search, Jira workflow property. So you can also do the same thing, and you'll find a link like this. And on this page, you can see different properties that you can use. So the property that I want to use first is this one, Jira issue editable. And I'll also show you another property which is slightly better, or not really better, but in some cases using this Jira.issue.editable, it might not be a desirable thing to do, because it will make the issue uneditable for everyone. Now I'll make it to false. I'll basically use the value false. So basically it says Jira.issue.editable false. So we cannot really make changes to the issue. Simply click on the add button and maybe go back to the workflow, and you can see there is this option to publish. I'll publish it, and I will go back to the issue. So let us go back to the issue, and let us see how it works. Hopefully it will work. I'll collapse the sidebar. So right now the status is in progress. I can add something to the description. I can basically make changes. Maybe I can add a label, all looks good. So I can make changes. I want that. But the moment I resolve the issue, or basically the moment I move the issue to done, I can't really make changes to these fields. So this is actually uneditable. But at the same time, this is something that is, so this is a bit different on cloud, I guess, because on server version, if you're using that particular property, you will not be able to add even a subtask. So let us check, because I do have the option which I can see, create a subtask for this. I'll just refresh it. Why not? Just to be, so you have to refresh the, this is something strange and weird about cloud. You have to always refresh, which is fine. So basically, there's no option to create a subtask as well. And this is something that is something you may not want. Maybe you want, if the issue is not editable, fine, but let us add subtask, maybe some additional information. So there is a way to do it. I'll go back to the workflow first, And I'll get rid of, I'll just go back to the workflow, edit this again, because you have to do this, otherwise you get this. So you can't really stay on the same page. So once you click on this properties, it will take you to a new page, and you basically have to work on that page. But if you have published the workflow, then this page is no longer relevant. So you have to create this workflow edit again. So let us delete this. And the other property which you can use is something called as Jira.permission. So basically we'll rely on the permissions to only allow users of a specific group to make changes. So Jira.permission, and I have to use the permission. So basically there are different permissions that we can use, and you can see here that there is a permission called as edit. So you can use edit here. At the same time, you want this permission to be applicable on a specific role. So the way it works, it has this format, jira.permission. This S is optional. If you are doing it for subtasks, you can use .subtask, but we are not really doing it for subtasks. So we'll just use .x, which is the permission, and .y is the target. Like basically for whom you are making this permission work. So the target is the project role. So I'll copy the project role, and the way it works, you have to specify here the project role ID, and it is of course not very difficult. All you need to do, you need to go to your Jira admin settings and then go to the project role. It should be somewhere here. Where is it? Come on, I keep. Come on, I need to go to system then. Okay, I'll click on system and project role. Where are you? Come on, project role. Oh yeah, I found it. Okay, security. The interface is a bit different. So let us say you want only people who are part of. What shall I do? Okay, maybe project manager. So let us say we have a role called project manager. The project manager role ID is something that you can find by clicking on this, or basically hovering your mouse over edit. It says 10,030. So 10030. So 10030. I'll say 10030. I'll add. And I will also publish the workflow because we want this change to be reflected on the issue. So I'll go back to the issue, and if I refresh this, let us see what happens. So as you can see, the moment I refresh the issue, the subtask option appeared again. So I can now create a subtask, which is wonderful because I want to create a subtask. But at the same time, I cannot really edit the issue. So there is no way to add or basically make changes. But what I can do, I can add myself to the project role, which is basically the project manager, I guess. What was the role name? I forgot the role name. Project manager. Yeah. So I'll add myself to the project manager role, and let us see if I can then. Come on, no. I need to be on a paid plan, but on a free plan you can only add people from your site admin, blah 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 blah. Anyways, maybe I can use this Jira administrator. So I'll have to use a group, I guess. So instead of or maybe I can say something like assignee. Okay, let us use assignee, and but I don't really want to use, I don't really want to hard code this. Come on. Okay, all right. But I think you get the idea, right? So on unfortunately on cloud, I cannot really, because on my plan I don't really have the option to modify the people, or basically it has to be done through the. But I am part of the administrator, so let me try administrator role because it might work. It should work, but these things, I mean, of course, what we're trying to do here is it works nicely, but whenever you're using workflow properties, it might not work everywhere the way you want. So let me use administrator role. So it is 10,002, and I'll go back to the workflow, and I'll modify the workflow again. But it works. I'm just trying to show you that if I'm part of, let us say, one of the role, the option to edit comes back. Which it should. So let me just go to the workflow properties. I'll delete this. I'll use project role. and it is this one, right? 1000, basically three zeros and 2. All right, this looks good. I'll add. I will then go back to the workflow and I'll publish it. So this is something that you can definitely take a look at, because this will give you a lot of flexibility without doing a lot of scripting here and there, and everything is of course within your workflow. So it may be too restrictive, but sometimes it is desirable. So do give it a try. Let me just show you the issue very quickly, and let us see if I can edit the issue. I'll just collapse it. So there is no option because I'm part of the project role admin. Do I need to be part of the role? Yeah, I think I'm not part of the role. I guess that is probably, but I'm part of the group, and the group is part of the admin role. Anyways, so I cannot really modify this because it is, maybe it is due to the project role. Let me just give it a try one more time, and I will show you the people part one more time. So strangely, I am part of the, because I am Jira admin, and Jira admin is by default added to the administrator role, and administrator is of course added in the workflow, so it should work. But anyways, maybe it has to be directly, maybe people should be part of the role, but no. I mean, even if they're part of a group, and the group is part of a role, then they're also part of a role. Anyways, so this works broadly, but if you're not really using a free plan, do give it a try. It might work for you, and I thought I'll share this. So basically, the main thing is that if the issue is not really, I mean, you want to edit you want to restrict the edit rights to a specific group, or not a group, but to a specific role of people, then you can, but they can still add a subtask using this approach, and this might be a better way of dealing these cases. All right, that is it. That is it for today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.